Hey, Kelly. Well, Johnson & Johnson trying to provide some data to get in the booster conversation. Of course, we've heard U.S. health officials talk about folks who got Pfizer or Moderna needing a booster shot 8 months later. Well, now Johnson & Johnson saying that they have given a booster dose to their single-shot vaccine to a small number of people in an early trial 6 months after getting that first shot. And what they saw is that it produced what they call a rapid and robust increase in spike-binding antibodies to the extent that they're 9-fold higher than about a month after people got their first shot. Now, this comes as health officials, including the CDC, in a tweet yesterday have signaled they expect J&J will require a booster, saying people who receive J&J will probably need a booster dose, saying they need more data. This is the first we are starting to see of that emerging data, and we are waiting to see more, specifically on the safety of giving a second shot, as well as the efficacy against Delta, as J&J has actually shown that their immunity remains stable out to at least 8 months. But this showing what people are calling promising news, that you can boost those antibody levels up 6 months later. On the Moderna front, saying that they have finalized their submission for full FDA approval of their vaccine, and so we'll wait for the FDA to accept that and then see how long that process takes. That would put it in the same class now with Pfizer, which got that full approval on Monday. And just more news coming out really in the last hour or two. Pfizer and BioNTech now say they've started their submission to the FDA for their booster dose and plan to finalize that submission by the end of this week. And so we're going to see that go through the regulatory process, the FDA needing to sign off, and then the CDC as well, Kelly. So this is really starting to move into the fall.
And even the vaccines, you know, the efficacy that you get from actually having had COVID still seems to provide better protection. I'm thinking about my kids who, the older two had it. And if they were asked in the future about vaccines or whatever, is there a way to say, to prove in the same way we hold our vaccine card or something to say, no, but they had it, right? So even when I forget sometimes we go, if they're not wearing a mask, and I'm like trying to explain to people, no, they already had it. I'm not, I don't think they're going to get it. Or maybe they should be wearing masks. Anyway, my point is, how do we recognize the people who literally had COVID as part of the quote unquote protected population?
Well, the data actually suggests that you get better protection from the vaccines than you do from natural infection. We haven't seen that when there are vaccine passports, that is extended to people with natural infection. Some argue that they should, because it's not like you don't get any protection from natural infection. You just get better protection from the vaccines. And so that's a really good question. And whether that's something that will come up with schools as the vaccines get extended to younger kids will be an important thing to be looked at for sure.
Should they be masked if they've had COVID? That one I'm confused about.
Yeah, the CDC's guidance applies to people who are vaccinated or unvaccinated. It doesn't stretch into whether people have had prior infection. And so for kids who would be in a crowded place, in a place with high community transmission, I think the CDC's guidance would be masking.